WIBTA for not returning $1,000 gift given to me by coworkers for my baby. I am not the OOP. OOP is you. Throw a ITA baby gift. WIBTA for not returning $1,000 gift given to me by coworkers for my baby. Originally posted to our Am I the Asshole in OOP's own page. Trigger warning. Body shaming. Emotional manipulation. Less than. Original post March 24, 2023. Throwaway. TL. Doctor the title. Me. 34F. Piecing old memories together with new info I just got. Dec. 2019. I tell boss I'll be quitting end of Jan. 2020 to be self-employed. But boss asks me to stay on payroll so he can contract out work to me easily. On my last day, coworkers leave me a goodbye card with $1,000 cash in it. March 2020. I move a few hours away. Last week, Mar. 2023. I see a former coworker who pats my stomach and asks if this is my second. I internally die because she thinks I am preggo. I know I'm 20 pounds over where I'd like to be. And a lot of that is on my gut, coupled with a super curved lower spine that made my belly stick out even before I got fat. I tell coworker I don't have any kids. Haha, I'm just fat. She looks awkward. I feel awkward. 0/10 experience. Would not repeat. This morning I get a call from HR passing on a message from a different coworker asking for the going away cash to be returned, as it was meant as a maternity gift for my baby, and that me, being fat, and wearing shirts that emphasize my belly, was deceptive and I tricked that coworker into thinking I was pregnant. HR says she overheard the convo about me leaving but continuing to do some work in the coming months and took that as my maternity leave. She took donations from the staff under that pretense, and now my fatness and lack of babiness is the hot office gossip. Feeling super great about that too. HR says they can't force me to do anything, but it would be nice to return it. Here's the thing. I no longer have the card, but I am sure it did not say anything about there's a kid inside you. It had two pandas on the front that now as I'm typing I do remember there was a big one hugging a smaller one, so maybe it was about babies. But it definitely didn't say anything like, bun in the oven, or, your sex was successful, or, we think you're pregnant. Quote, I am certain I would remember that because that's a super big insecurity I've had for the past 5 years since I started gaining weight. Medicine side effect. And husband keeps saying, nobody thinks you look preggo, so haha sucks to be wrong hubby. This is a very hollow victory. I'm feeling crushed and upset that the going away gift actually wasn't. And not once did any of my coworkers actually ask if I was pregnant. I don't really want to return the money. The cash is long since gone. But I could pull $1,000 from my bank to give back. Old boss has also been emailed about this entire exchange, posting here while I wait for a reply from him, and googling women's fashion to hide belly fat and feeling horrible about my body. Edit. I do not want Newsweek or any other site using this situation as content, and do not want any part of this posted off of Reddit. I came here for support and opinions, and my shame should not be your entertainment. Thank you. I know I can't stop you, but now if you link here, at least your readers will see this. Verdict. Not the asshole. Relevant comments, additional info. Superfast mama. Here's the issue. You accepted $1,000, which is a lot of money. Surely this wasn't a common occurrence at your place of work. Collect a large amount of money for someone quitting their job. It seems really odd you wouldn't question why collection had been made, especially since the card now appears off to you. And it's really extremely odd to take that money and not leave the company. Taking a going away gift and not going away? That said, the HR person if off their rocker to call you about this. with that absolutely ridiculous response run from this company. Okay, but this was unusual, right? Because if it's totally normal to collect a large sum for someone quitting their job at this company, why would someone complain now? Oop, I'm replying here even though you're being downvoted because they're valid questions. I'm also going to use this comment for info. Answers from other comments, so I'm not typing the same thing everywhere multiple times. I do not actually know if it was normal to put together goodbye funds for people. Nobody from my department quit while I was working there. When people from other departments left, the company usually got a cake and sub platters to put in the lunchroom. I was asked to sign a card and contribute PTO to an injured coworker from a different department. But never any money for anyone. My room had 13 people, 12 plus me, and 2 managers and 1 boss that I worked with and talked to. I did not interact with people in other offices much. The entire company has a really rough estimate of maybe 100 people in this location. I do not know how many names were in the card, because I did not keep it, but it was more than just 15 people, so I do not know who contributed, or how much money each, or if those people are still at the company or not. The only contact I have had with anyone at the company prior to this whole debacle was the emails from boss and his replies, all exclusively discussing the thing he would like me to make for him. And back in 2020, contacting HR via phone once to update my mailing address. HR called me this morning. There was nothing in writing. HR is also not the one who started up the fund. That was a coworker from my department who I worked with. I just didn't use names because I couldn't come up with a fake one off the top of my head. But HR is also a lady. And her phone call was of the, "Hey, heads up about this," then it was scolding me. I'm still pretty mortified about it. But I don't think HR lady was being malicious or going over any sort of professional line. The order of events of me quitting went something like: the first week of December, I tell boss I'm leaving at the end of January. He submits the paperwork for that. For all of December, I tell coworkers that I'll be quitting, starting my own business doing roughly the same thing, but online. I give updates along the way as to how progress is going all through December. Everyone in the office is excited for me and the progress I am making on setting up my website, which is much different than creating geosites pages. January. We start getting news about COVID and nobody really knows what's happening there. Somewhere in the middle of January, boss asks if I would mind staying on payroll because there's one very specific aspect of the job that I do that nobody else in my department is trained for. And asking me to do that thing would be easier than training or hiring someone new specifically for that thing. I agree to stick on for that. And boss updates the paperwork to say, never mind. Op isn't actually quitting. She's just working on a as-needed basis. I don't think I told anyone in the office about this, because in my mind I was still quitting. I may have told people though. I do not remember. And obviously, coworker heard me, so she knew. As far as I remember, the conversation in January was just a lot of, "What's this silly little COVID thing? It's probably nothing. It's not like it's going to massively affect every aspect of our lives for the next 3 years." Then, in the last week of January, CEO announces we won't be doing parties and such anymore until they know what's up with COVID. And I pick up the card from my desk as I'm heading out on my last day, being bummed about the lack of cake. Me and husband move in March 2020, right as the entire state is being shut down. Super creepy driving on a main highway road in what was supposed to be rush. And there were maybe 5 cars besides us in the U-Haul. I used the money to help pay for the whole moving costs. And that's pretty much the last I ever think about it until this morning. I do feel kinda silly now. Looking back, like, WTF, why would my coworkers actually give me this much money? But I think at the time I was just more feeling appreciated and that they were really going to miss me and were really excited for me going and doing my own thing. So I didn't really question it. This was also my first, real actual adult job, ever. So I guess I just accepted it as normal? Hi, it's me, Boo Boo the Fool. Mini update. I'm sorry. The only update I have is that husband brought home cheesecake and we read every comment on Saturday. I'm not up to date on reading past Saturday night. That's what I'm doing now. Everyone here is an absolutely lovely human being and I cannot state exactly how much every single comment has meant to me. Even the few that were mean. And the few that were somewhat nonsensical. I've been reading everything. My boss got back to the email I sent him that afternoon saying he was unaware of what the situation was and would look into it. I have not heard back yet, although that makes sense as it was the weekend. I haven't contacted HR about this being harassment yet because I'm still feeling miserable. Although much less so than I was on Friday. I got a DM from a Newsweek employee who wanted an interview, which has made me a bit peevish this morning. And also very happy I decided to use a throwaway I can disavow instead of having my chunky belly made the news, forever attached to my main account. Update April 1st, 2023. Tiniest of updates, resolution before I go back to my main account again. A small treat for people who visit this profile. Because after 2K comments I feel the need to leave a resolution. But I also feel that the resolution is more of a deflating balloon noise than anything else. So ye be warned. It's a lame ending. HR emailed on Tuesday asking if we could set up a meeting on Thursday. The we being me, my boss, and someone from HR. Also, this was a video call. Because I no longer live in the area and that wasn't entirely clear in my first post. But to be fair to me, I was also not in the best of feelings while writing that one. HR lady. Uncertain if it was the same woman from Friday. I do not remember her name. I didn't anticipate needing to take notes when that call began. Started it off by asking, "Did you ever tell any of your coworkers you were pregnant?" and me going, "No." And then before I said anything else, HR lady saying something like, "Well, that's all that then. We don't need you for anything else." Straight up dismissed like a small child. I asked something not at all articulate like, "What do you mean this is over?" This was apparently a huge hecking deal? And HR lady said it was all a misunderstanding, and that apparently only the one coworker who had set up the collection was upset to hear I wasn't actually pregnant. And she had only requested her contribution back. Which I'm calling BS on. Because, return the $1,000, and, return her individual contribution to the total, do not sound alike. But whatever. And that coworker had retracted her request when boss spoke to her. So I asked what her contribution was. As even retracted. It was obviously a big enough issue for her to raise it in the first place. Our and boss did not know. So boss said he'd check and get back to me, and that was that. I signed off the meeting and spent the rest of the day completely unable to focus on my own work. Ladies and lads, it was $50. I put a check in the mail to the office ATTN coworker this morning. And I'm done with this whole thing. No idea what the rest of my old coworkers thought or how involved they actually were. I don't have contact with any of them. So many comments said to lie about a miscarriage to shame them or to get a lawyer and sue. But I don't feel morally right lying about that. And honestly, I don't want this to be a long and drawn-out issue with lawyers and legalese. So I'm just calling it over and done at this point. I am, however, saving my original post to reread the comments whenever I feel bad. Because there were so many nice comments. And all the stories of other people also being told they look pregnant. I'm sorry that also happened to you. But I'm also weirdly glad it did. Because that means I'm not alone in the awful feelings and knowing that made this past week much softer to deal with. Eiley, Reddit less than 3. This is a repost sub IAM not the oop. My first year teaching. I was working car line at noon dismissal and had put my gloves in my pockets because they were getting stuck in car seat buckles. I go back to my class's bench and one student loudly yells, "Hey Miss Introverted Giraffe. When are you having your baby?" Heard by all students, staff, parent volunteers, and many parents in pickup. Nope, not pregnant, but apparently needed a new coat with a more flattering shape. This is so strange. If a coworker came up to me asking to contribute to another coworker's leaving present because they were pregnant, then I would take that as confirmation that they were definitely pregnant. And then at some point during all of our interactions I would have definitely congratulated her in person or ask if they were having a girl or boy, you know. The usual small talk when you know someone is leaving to have a baby. The fact that nobody did this is so weird. If they had, then OP would have been able to set the record straight sooner. My God, what is wrong with the coworker? Making assumptions and then acting like this? That's just messed up. Haha, sucks to be wrong, hubby. This is a very hollow victory. I appreciate OOP's sense of humor. When I was about 13-14, I spent the summer with my grandfather and his fourth wife. This wasn't a normal thing. My mother wanted a break from me. My grandfather had only been married about a year and I think the new wife was trying to be nice to the family. Plus my grandfather and new wife had just moved to a lakeshore and opened a business. So I was shipped off for the summer to work in the store. With my off time spent sunbathing and partying on the lake. I was very tanned and not wearing much besides a swimsuit with a pair of shorts over it. I wasn't overweight, but probably a little chubby as I had been dealing with puberty and all my curves popping out. I didn't know it at the time, but I was the hot topic of family gossip that summer. Everyone wondering why I had been shipped off to my grandparents. And some had decided I must be pregnant. One relative came to visit for the weekend. I'm working in the store, wearing nothing much with a bare belly, scooping ice cream. So I'm sorta stooped over straining to scoop. In the middle of the store, with all the customers around, this relative says to me, "Are you pregnant? You look pregnant to me." Talk about mortified. I had a lovely older lady ask when I was due and how many I was expecting. At the time I was in an oncology ward waiting for ovarian cancer surgery. I just assumed she had dementia. Lied my heart out and said just the one. Then watched her toddle off completely oblivious and happy. I had a massive tumor with ascites, so fair enough really. The looks of horror from everyone else in the ward still make me laugh 15 years later. Shit. If my fat ass could net me $1,000. I wanna work where OP works. Though in all seriousness, I can imagine how much that had to have hurt her self-esteem. The greatest thing about nannying little kids was not feeling as bad about my gut. Strangers would just assume I'd just had a kid and not think I was fat or pregnant. It makes it a lot easier to go out in public when dealing with body dysmorphia. Once wore what I thought was a cute autumn outfit, dress and boots, to work at off-site location. One of the managers there I hadn't seen in a while congratulated me on my pregnancy, touched my pouch and asked my due date. It got awkward really quick when I told her I guess I've just gotten a bit fat. Never wore that outfit again. Maybe I just spend too much time on this site. But who else suspects that the complaining coworker was low-key hoping to keep the whole $1,000? They definitely weren't going to track down people who had left the company to give them their money back. My sister's self-esteem took a huge hit once when a coworker at her job that she hadn't seen in a while asked her, very excitedly, when her baby was due. My sister wasn't pregnant. Okay, but people get wrong cards for people all the time. We gave a coworker leaving a graduation card once. Another one a sorry for your loss card. Marriage? Oh no. I'm not going for a marriage card. I'm going for something weird and fitting from another section. Also, it could be many of them donated in good faith towards helping her start up her new business. My money's on the coworker making an assumption, being embarrassed at being wrong, and deciding she would demand the money back expecting to get all of it, but keep mom so that she could keep the entire $1,000 for herself. They should fire coworker for being such a busybody and spreading falsehoods. What a drama llama. I was asked 4 separate times if I was pregnant. One woman actually touched my stomach. The horror on the faces when I told them I was just fat almost made it okay. Almost. How much do you want to bet oop or someone cracked a joke about her new business being her new baby, and coworker decided that was her cue to make an ass out of you and emptions. A $1,000 donation to Planned Parenthood has been made in your names. Would be all anyone at the old company got back from me. Multiple places I've worked before have a designated HR budget for employees leaving, if they've worked there a certain amount of time, to be split between a celebration and a gift at the manager and employee's preference. Since any going away party got cancelled by the bosses due to COVID, I would have assumed they'd thrown in the party and gift money on top of colleague contributions. And even without that, in a workplace with 100 employees, that's $10 each. So $20 from immediate coworkers, a bit more from direct managers, and $5 from most others, would add up to $1,000 pretty quickly. As an overweight woman, people thinking I'm pregnant was a huge fear, especially since I wanted kids and couldn't have them. Luckily now I've aged out of baby-making years, so the fear has dropped off. WTF? Coworkers gave a going-away gift and some coworker thought oop was pregnant and wanted their money back?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.